I'm making a little cocoa today, and that's non-dairy, raw, vegan cocoa. I used to make this every day, but it's a lot of stimulants to have every day. So I just make it a couple times a week now. And basically, a little too much. I usually fill up whatever mug I'm going to use to about 3/4 full, because I'm going to be adding stuff to it. And I normally put in a handful of nuts. I really prefer cashews in this because they're just creamy and yummy. I just put a handful in there. I'm actually soaking some almonds, so you can use that. Or if you have some nut butter, you can also use that. I discovered this while making I think it was cashew nut butter in my Vitamix, and I hated to leave all that stuff in it. So I made this kind of out of my head and been making it ever since for the last 2 years, even before I went raw. I usually put about a tablespoon of maca, which is a lot, but I got a lot of work to do tonight, and I'm going to go running, so I'm going to get myself some energy going. And I'm going to put some raw cacao in. And raw cacao always varies a little bit from, I use the same brand all the time. This is, well, you can read it for raw, organic, natural zing. But even though I use the same brand, sometimes when I get it from time to time, it has a different flavor. And I usually use a heaping tablespoon in there. Sometimes I have to use less because it's so powerful, and sometimes more. I haven't made this in a while. My first tablespoon was not that heaping, so I'm just putting in a little more. But you'll kind of get a feel for it after you do it a couple of times. And I'm just going to put in maybe, I would say, 1/8 of a teaspoon or less of cinnamon. Just really more like a good pinch. And I normally use honey, but I don't have any honey right now. So I'm going to put in about twice as much coconut crystals as I put in cacao. And that won't make it super sweet, especially with coconut crystals. They're not as sweet as sugar to me. But it'll just make it sweet enough. If it's not sweet enough for you, put in more. And then a small pinch of salt, which I guess you can leave out, but it really does make a big flavor difference. And I'm turning my little vanilla over. I think I don't have any more. Just trying to get the last of it out. And I just usually put in a little tiny bit of it, but I'm milking the last of it, probably less than 1/8 of a teaspoon. And now, got to get the Vitamix parts together. And then I'm just going to turn on the Vitamix, and I'm going to leave it on. Gosh, I never time this. For a couple of minutes until it gets warmed up in the Vitamix. You can do the same thing in the, what's the other brand? I can't think of it. But you know what I'm talking about. My mom used to always do that. You know what I'm talking about. I can't think of the name, but the other high-speed blender. So here we go, and I'll come back when it's nice and warm. Okay, this feels warm. What I usually do is just feel the side, and if it feels warm, it's warm enough. And as you can see, there's smoke coming out, but it's not boiling hot. I don't know why it does that, but it's going to be pretty warm. And if you want it a little cooler, don't blend it as long. I blended this about 3 or 4 minutes. Well, more like 4 minutes, I guess. So there's my almonds waiting for me for a recipe unknown. I'm just gonna fill that up. It's like a little drop left. And let me take a taste. Completely awesome. And if you want something else, I make the same thing, only with ice, to make kind of a mocha shake. And I mean, it is really, really good. And if I have coconut water in the house, because I'm always opening up coconuts these days, I'll use coconut water in place of spring water. So And like I said, the frozen version is super easy. It's the same thing basically, only you add less water, more ice, and a little bit more sugar because cold things don't taste as strong as warm things. But I'm satisfied. And until next time, I wish you much